Life's greatest lessons, the most precious teachings of life. Sometimes life itself becomes our greatest teacher. Everything we feel, every experience we go through, whether it's a win or a loss, always has something to teach us. As time passes, we grow older, and at every turn, life tries to teach us something new. But there is no age limit to learning. Anyone, be it a child or an elder, can learn from life, sometimes from a smile, sometimes from a stumble, and sometimes from someone else's story. In this story, you will discover those priceless lessons that can change the way you think. These are the insights that will help you see the goodness in people, the goodness that you may have been ignoring all this time. And most importantly, it will awaken that hidden potential inside you, the potential that can make you a better version of yourself. Success is more than making money. In our society, success is often measured by money, an expensive car, a big house, or a high-ranking position. But is that really all there is? True success means bringing out the best qualities within yourself, becoming the kind of person you can truly be proud of. Many people believe that money is everything. But have you ever thought about how the desire for more money has stolen peace from so many lives? There was a time when people like Ivan Boesky considered wealth to be the sole measure of success. He once said, "In today's world, the rich are the successful." But just a few months later, that same man ended up in jail. And not just him, major companies like Enron, once at the top, were destroyed by greed. People lost their jobs, investors lost trust, and whatever was left crumbled. So is money really everything? The Tom Peters Group spoke to thousands of people and uncovered a shocking truth. More than half were unhappy with their lives. 68% admitted that their job mattered more to them than their family. Now think, if chasing money causes you to lose relationships, health, and happiness, then what's the point of that kind of success? In reality, there is no single definition of success in life. What's needed is just one simple understanding, that whatever we do, we should do it with all our heart and full capability. When you look within, you discover the strength, the resources, and the clarity that lead you toward real success. And most importantly, that joy which no amount of money can ever buy. Life is not easy, and it's not always fair. Life, it's not just a story. It's a series of constantly changing tests, sometimes a glimpse of joy, sometimes a wave of pain. At every turn, there's a new lesson, a new challenge. To be honest, we all want a life where there's no pain, no suffering. But reality is very different from our dreams. In truth, life can get so tough that we start questioning ourselves. Why me? Why does this always happen to me? But maybe before asking questions, we need to understand one thing: that hardships are guaranteed, but fighting through them, that's our choice. Once, the author of this book, Hal Urban, was assigning homework to one of his students in class. The task was a bit difficult, something to really think about. The boy immediately said, "Sir, this is too tough." Hal simply smiled and replied with one line, "Son, life is tough. This is just homework." At that moment, the boy didn't quite understand. But time passed, and years later when he met Hal again, he said, "Sir, that one line changed the way I think. I'll never forget what you taught me." Today, that boy accepts every challenge with an open heart, because now he understands, if life is tough, then so am I. When we accept that life isn't easy, then no hardship feels too heavy. We start to see hidden opportunities in every problem. We find the courage to rise every time we fall. And with every step, we become a little stronger, a little wiser. But that's not all. We must also understand that life is not always just. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes we are punished for things we didn't do. And sometimes something so unexpected happens, we can't even imagine it. But here's what's important. We're not alone. Like you, like me, millions of people are on the same journey, some with a smile, some broken inside. But still, they move forward, because stopping is not a solution. So next time life tries to knock you down, remember this: the bigger the challenge, the greater the opportunity. You can choose to smile in sorrow, you can choose to learn in defeat, because true strength is this: to live even in pain, and to live with all your heart. Our life is made by our decisions, not by fate. When every human being enters this world, they come with one priceless gift, the freedom to choose. Some people might say, we don't get to choose our destiny, or we just have to live life the way it comes. But the truth is, life gives us the opportunity to choose, every day, every moment. We can't always decide what happens to us, but we can always decide how we respond. The moment we open our eyes in the morning, we're given a chance to begin again. We choose how we face that day, with a smile or with complaints. But most people never realize this power. They don't know that every small or big decision they make is shaping the direction of their entire life. When Hal Urban was in college, he attended a Jesuit school where a philosophy class once posed an intriguing question. Why are you here in this world? Everyone had their own answer. Some said, it's God's will. Others simply said, I don't know. One day, the class was debating a deep topic. If God exists, why is there so much suffering in the world? A student asked, if God is real, then why doesn't he remove all pain? The teacher smiled and replied, if God removed all suffering, how would we ever recognize joy? If we never shed tears, how would we truly value laughter? If we never failed, would victory ever feel complete? Maybe that's why God gave us something powerful, the ability to choose. He wants to see how we use this freedom. Do we run from challenges, or do we face them with courage? Even today, when we meet people, we often hear, my luck was bad. The situation wasn't in my favor. I had no choice. But is that really true? Yes, sometimes situations are beyond our control, but how we react to them is always within our control. So the next time life throws a difficult question at you, remember this. You have the freedom to choose your answer. You can choose how you think, how you respond, and which direction you want your life to move in. You can choose your beliefs, your values, your attitude, even your purpose, because the real power lies within you, the power to choose. And once you truly understand that your life is shaped by your decisions, not by luck, not by fate, then no matter the circumstances, you can become a stronger, wiser, and happier human being. Your attitude is your greatest choice. Every person faces some kind of struggle in life. Some are battling relationships, some are battling circumstances, and some, are battling themselves. But the one thing that determines whether we rise above these challenges or not is our attitude. We can't completely avoid problems, but we can always decide how we will face them. A positive attitude lifts us up. A negative one pulls us right back down to where we started. And this choice is always ours. Attitude is not just a way of thinking. It shapes our behavior, our ability to think clearly, and how we respond in every situation. It is built gradually, through our experiences, our environment, and most importantly, through our own decisions. You can choose to make it your greatest friend or a silent enemy, one that can change the direction of your entire life. The story of Dr. Viktor Frankl is the perfect example of this. A Jewish psychiatrist who was imprisoned during World War II in Hitler's brutal Nazi concentration camps. He had lost everything, his home, his family, his profession, everything. Inside the camp, unspeakable torture was common. Some prisoners died slowly in agony, some ended their own lives, and some were mentally shattered. But Dr. Frankl realized something profound. The world can take everything from you, but no one can take away your attitude. He discovered that even in the worst of circumstances, he still had the freedom to choose. What to think, how to respond, no dictator, no situation could take that freedom from him. And it was this attitude that kept him alive. That gave him hope. It even allowed him to give hope to others. To help them hold on, Viktor Frankl turned his most painful memories into a life-changing book. He showed millions of people that a positive attitude is the greatest strength a human being can possess. So just imagine, if a man living in the shadow of death could hold such a powerful attitude, why can't we? In the end, everything is in your hands. Your mindset determines how you see your struggles, as a wall blocking your path or as a staircase leading you forward. Like Frankl, you can turn every pain into a lesson, or surrender to your circumstances. The choice is yours, because attitude is always a choice. Habits and time, the true keys to your success. We become what we repeatedly do, and this repeated behavior eventually turns into our habits. But the bigger question is, are the habits we've formed lifting us up or slowly pulling us down? Most of the time, we don't even realize our bad habits. They become so deeply rooted in our lives that we can't even sense their presence anymore. As the saying goes, bad habits enter through whispers, but only leave with a push. Take the story of a middle-aged man. He had developed a habit of using abusive language. Over 30 years, he continued it without question. He never realized how his words were hurting others. He thought, "That's just the way I talk. What's so wrong with that?" Then one day, a close friend, someone who truly cared about him, spoke up. He said, "The language you think is just your style has now become your identity. People aren't afraid of you. They're afraid of your habit." That one conversation opened his eyes. He realized he wasn't just hurting others with his words. He was damaging his own image. That's the power of habits. If good, they build us. If bad, they quietly destroy us. But here's the most important part. Any habit can be changed. All it takes is deep awareness and a genuine intention. Now let's talk about time. The one thing that every person gets equally. Every human being gets 24 hours in a day. Not a second more, not a moment less. So where's the difference? It lies in this. Who controls their time and who gets swept away by it? 2 articles in the San Francisco Chronicle highlighted this perfectly. The first one was about people who constantly complained that they never had enough time. The second one featured those who had made a decision to reset their life's priorities. And the moment they removed the non-essential from their lives, life started to feel lighter, tasks started getting completed, and most importantly, they found peace. The truth is, there is no shortage of time. What's missing is the understanding of time. We try to do everything without asking what's truly necessary. But successful people are different. They don't save time, they make time. So if you want a balanced life, if you want each day to feel purposeful, start with some simple steps. Set aside dedicated time for yourself. Break big tasks into smaller ones. Identify when you're most productive. And most importantly, learn to use the time you've been given to its fullest. Habits and time. If you gain control over these two, no destination will ever be too far. Because success is never accidental. It is built through daily habits and daily decisions. It's okay to fail, because everyone fails at some point. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Am I afraid of failure? If your answer is yes, you're not alone. Every human being fails at some point in life. But the difference is, some people build themselves from that failure, while others break down because of it. Failure is neither new nor shameful. It's a natural part of life, and it touches everyone who dares to dream big. But when life falls short of expectations, when our efforts feel wasted, and when a sense of emptiness settles in, that's when failure hurts the most. But think about it. Do the number of times we fail really matter? Or is it more important what we learn after each failure? Take Thomas Edison, for example. He wasn't an ordinary man. He gave the world light, the electric bulb. But do you know, he failed 10,000 times before getting it right. Someone once asked him, "Don't you regret failing 10,000 times?" Edison smiled and replied, "I never failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." And that mindset, that's what made him extraordinary. Failure wasn't a roadblock for him. It was a staircase leading him closer to success. And the same applies to all of us. Every failure leaves behind a hidden lesson. Like a teacher who doesn't use sweet words, but teaches lessons that stay with us for life. Failure doesn't come to break you. It comes to make you stronger. It shows you your true strength, how resilient you are, and what your limits are, which you can stretch a little more every time. So next time you fall, don't ask yourself, "Why did I fail?" Instead, ask, "What can I learn from this?" Because remember, every failure is an invisible step that's taking you upward. And now finally, it's time for a real reflection. In this book, Blink, you've heard some of life's deepest lessons, hidden with the power to transform your thinking and redirect your life. Maybe you've even realized that somewhere within you there's a power still asleep, a potential you've never awakened. Now it's time to discover that power, to challenge your limits, to choose habits and decisions that make you better every single day. Success isn't in money or fame. It's in the satisfaction of knowing you gave your best today. So now that this summary has come to an end, I have one last question for you. Are you ready to embrace failure in your life, learn from it, and become the best version of yourself every day? Believe in yourself and keep moving forward.